Hey, sweetie. In Key West, that museum that has like 50,000 names but has really cool stuff inside?
Kinda. Can you be more specific?
Well, the Fort East Martello Museum, or the Martello Gallery, or the Key West Art and Historical
Do
Museum.
you want to do a video about that?
Yeah, can we?
Yes. Well, hello there, parapeeps, and welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels. I am your host, Sean Donnelly.
I'm your co-host, Marianne Donnelly.
So we've done a video in the past about Robert the Doll and our trip to Key West when we went to visit Robert the Doll.
Mm-hmm. It's actually how I got you to go.
I was just going to say that. That's how my wife got me to go to the Keys.
Yes, I wanted to go to
before we get into that, if you're into the paranormal, history, forensic, and travel type videos,
don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell so you'll hear from us next time we post a new video.
Go on with your story.
All right, so I wanted to go to the Florida Keys. We were going to go on a trip down there, but I wanted to go further down the Keys than he wanted to go. I wanted to go to the Turtle Hospital, but he didn't want to go that far. And I'm like, how am I going to get him to go that far? And I was like, okay, so what's else is around there? And I'm like, hey, sweetie, you want to go see Robert the Doll? And he's like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, it's just past the Turtle Hospital, sweetie. Yeah. Actually, it's a little further down, but it was close enough.
It's way further down.
Close enough.
We went to Key West.
We passed.
That was the trip that we took when we went on the cruise.
Yes, we passed the Turtle Hospital on the way to get to this museum.
Yeah. But we did go to the Turtle Hospital.
We did, so it made it perfect. I got to see my turtles.
That was a fun trip. I mean, that whole trip, we saw the grave site of Ponce de Leon in Puerto Rico. We got to go on a cruise. We saw a bunch of places in Miami. The only thing that really was horrible about that trip was the drive from Miami to the Keys.
Yeah, driving in Miami getting out of Miami is awful.
I don't want to go there. I don't want to bring it up. I blocked that out of my memory.
Bad memory.
Bad memory. But
especially since they also closed off a road so that they could be filming a movie.
It was horrible. I think we talked about it on a live stream before, but yeah, it was bad. Anyways, Fort East Martello Museum.
Also, the Martello Gallery, Key West Art and Historical Museum.
Let's take all that other stuff and just talk about Fort East Martello for a minute.
Okay.
It's the history of the building itself.
Gotcha.
And how it became the museum and things
Love
like
it.
that. Ready?
Love it.
Okay. So watch this. We'll talk about the history, and then we'll come back and keep rambling. All right. We'll be right back.
Construction on Fort East Martello began in 1862, during the turbulent period of the Civil War. This fort was a crucial component of the United States coastal defense system, strategically positioned to protect the harbor of Key West, which was vital for military and commercial shipping routes. Designed with the intention of serving as a robust military installation, the fortification was part of a larger initiative to enhance the defense capabilities of the southern coast against potential Confederate naval incursions. The fort's construction was not merely a local endeavor. It represented a significant investment in national security during a time of widespread unrest, reflecting the urgency of the Union's need to secure its territories and maintain control over crucial maritime passages. The architectural design of Fort East Martello is emblematic of the Martello style, which is characterized by its distinctive round shape and robust thick walls. These features were specifically engineered to withstand the impact of artillery fire, a common threat during military engagements of that era. The fort's design incorporates a variety of military architectural elements, including embrasures for cannons, a parapet for defense positioning, and a central courtyard that would have facilitated troop movements and operations. Although Fort East Martello was never fully completed and never saw action in battle, its architectural significance is noteworthy as it reflects the military engineering practices of the 19th century and the evolving strategies of coastal defense. Following its decommissioning as a military installation, Fort East Martello experienced a period of neglect and disrepair. Recognizing the historical value of the structure, local citizens and historians initiated preservation efforts during the 1950s. Their dedication led to the fort's designation as a museum in 1950, marking a significant turning point in its history. The museum was officially opened to the public, transforming the once abandoned fort into a vibrant space for educational and cultural enrichment. This transition not only aimed to preserve the physical structure, but also sought to highlight the rich tapestry of Key West history, including its military significance, maritime heritage, and cultural evolution. The Fort East Martello Museum boasts a diverse array of collections and exhibits that provide insight into the multifaceted history of Key West. Among the notable artifacts housed within its walls are military artifacts from the Civil War and other significant periods showcasing evolution of military technology and strategy. Local art and historical exhibits that highlight the vibrant culture of the Florida Keys, including the contributions of local artists and craftsmen. Notable collections such as the works of renowned artist Mario Sanchez, who captured the essence of Key West life, and the infamous Robert the Doll, a peculiar artifact that has garnered attention and intrigue due to its eerie reputation. These collections not only serve to educate visitors about the past, but also celebrate artistic and cultural heritage of the region, creating a rich narrative that connects the community to its history. Today, the Fort East Martello Museum stands as an essential cultural and historical research for both residents and visitors alike. It plays a pivotal role in the community by offering various educational programs, guided tours, and special events that celebrate the rich history of Key West and the broader Florida Keys. The museum's commitment to education and preservation ensures the stories of the past are not only told, but also experienced in engaging and meaningful ways. Furthermore, the fort itself remains a significant landmark, embodying the architectural and military heritage of the region while serving as a backdrop for community gatherings and cultural celebrations.
Okay, so this museum is the home of Robert the Doll.
And somebody else.
And some other artifacts. She's not there.
Well,
her first headstone that blew up is there, and the story about her, and some other creepy stuff too. They have creepy stuff in this place, and then they have like cool stuff, like there's stuff like a cigar from a cigar factory, but there's military stuff, and then there's like death stuff.
And what I found interesting about this place was that it was open air. Normally museums are climate controlled and everything, but they literally have like walls that are open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we should do the story about... Oh, I didn't do this. Did I?
No.
All right. We are actually talking about Panic D number 1955, which is the, I don't know what it's named, Martello Gallery, Key West Art History Museum, Fort East Martello. It's the same building, whatever. It's located at 3501 South Roosevelt Boulevard in Key West, Florida.
Yes.
Yes, it is open to the public.
Yes.
Yes.
And you could go there during the day for the museum, and you can also go in the evenings on ghost tours.
Yes. We were there twice.
Yes.
Ghost tour, and we went back during the day before we left Key West.
Yes, we did.
But there is a story besides Robert that they talk about. And I don't know how we're going to do this. Like, how do you think?
I think Boris should tell it.
Really?
I really think Boris should tell it.
But he gives me a headache. All right, let's conjure Boris. But he's going to tell you the story, not really the paranormal. Well, I guess it's just weird.
It's creepy.
He will love it.
It's just creepy.
All right. Okay, Boris.
Let's do it.
Tell them the story about Carl Tanzler, if you would, Key West, Florida.
Carl Tanzler, the self-proclaimed Count von Consul, was a German-born radiologic technologist who moved to Key West in 1926, my friends, at the age of 39. A man with a mysterious past, he found employment as an X-ray technician at the Marine Hospital on the U.S. Navy base. On October 22nd of 1930, a young, beautiful woman by the name of Elena Hoyos was escorted to the Marine Hospital for tests to determine the extent of her tuberculosis infection. On that ill-fated day, my friends, von Kossel was the technician assigned to draw her blood and perform her X-ray. Von Kossel recognized her as the beautiful, dark-haired woman that had been revealed to him in visions as a child, the woman that was to become his true love. He instantly fell obsessively in love with Elena, despite the fact that she was still married, and despite his attraction to her, he knew that Elena's prognosis was bad. She had a virulent form of tuberculosis and was not expected to live much longer. Von Kossel decided he alone could cure her using his alleged medical expertise. While living in a small room, my friends, at her parents' house, Elena was frequently visited by von Kossel. He showered her with expensive gifts and began to treat her illness with his electrical therapy machine. But they were to no avail, my friends, and Elena died on October 25th, 1931, just days before Halloween, and 18 months after they met. At the time of her death, she was 22, and he was 53 years old. Von Kossel refused to believe that Elena's death was final. He had an elaborate tomb constructed at Key West Cemetery, where he visited her almost nightly. Unable to accept that her beautiful body was deteriorating, and convinced that her death was a mere detail that he could reverse, he envisioned living with her for the rest of his life. After months of planning, von Kossel removed Elena's body from the tomb and transferred it to his wingless airplane parked near the Marine Hospital. Since the location gave him direct access to his laboratory, he began the process of restoring his beloved to life with a wildly irrational combination of scientific technology and an enthusiasm that spilled over into insanity. Guided by the constant presence of her spirit's voice, von Kossel continued his work for more than 2 years. Twice he had to move his base of operations to avoid detection, finally moving Elena to a ramshackle building on Flagler Avenue. Unemployed in guarding his secrets, he dehydrated Elena and waited for the appropriate time to awaken her from her fatal sleep. Preparing for this event, he reconstructed her face using plaster, silk, and wax. And to perpetuate the gaze he so adored, he embedded glass eyes into her head. And so, my friends, they lived peacefully together as man and corpse until October of 1940. However, my friends, Key West is a small town. Suspicion about von Kossel's activities led to rumors, and inevitably rumors led to discovery, and ultimately to von Kossel's arrest for grave robbery and possessing a dead body. In a tiny room crowded with a homemade pipe organ and an elaborate bed, the sheriff found Elena dressed in a wedding gown, complete with lace, a veil and silk flower. Her demented admirer had reconstructed the bulk of her body, with her remaining flesh thoroughly mummified. The local and national press fell all over themselves to cover the story. Key West was suddenly catapulted into the international limelight. Too bizarre to believe, my friends, the story triggered throngs of curious visitors into town. To deal with the glamoring hordes, Elena's body was put on display at Dean Lopez Funeral Home and was viewed by almost 7,000 people in a space of several days. Eventually, Elena's remains were dismembered, placed in a small metal box, and buried at an undisclosed location. Key West local courts sidestepped a trial by suggesting that the statute of limitations had been reached and dropped all charges against Von Cosel. As relieved as he may have been at this turn of events, Von Cosel could not comprehend that his bride would never be returned to him. Released from jail, an embittered and uncomprehending Von Cosel returned to his deserted shack on Flagler Avenue. His notoriety followed him, my friends, and for the next 6 months he spent his days and nights recounting Elena's story to hundreds of people from all over the nation and abroad. Carl Tanzler von Cosel finally left Key West to escape his notoriety and write his memoirs. The very day he departed the island, my friends, the tomb which he had erected for Elena in Key West Cemetery all those years ago mysteriously blew up. No one ever proved that Von Cosel was responsible for the explosion, but it is generally accepted that he was guilty of it. He subsequently moved to Zephyr Hills, Florida, where he completed his memoirs. Tinkering with his wingless airplane and other inventions, he lived mainly from handouts from his family. He died unrepentant in 1952.
I don't know why you want to keep summoning him.
He's got to earn his keep somehow.
I know. Thank you, Boris. He's just like off the charts, man. Maybe we need to use him more. I don't know. Let us know down in the comments. Are you pro Boris? We should get stickers made up. Pro Boris. Right?
Okay.
All right, so that's the story. What do you think about that story, by the way?
I think he's a little sick.
Guy was a little off.
A little bit. Just a hair.
Normally you love those stories. You'd be like, oh, I'll tell it. No, you're like, here, we'll have Boris do it.
I think Boris needed this one.
Yeah. Poor Elena.
I don't know. I know. It's just, it's so weird.
Yeah.
That someone would just do that. It's just crazy.
How do you say her name? Elena Milagro Hoyos Mesa.
Elena Milagro Hoyos Mesa.
All right, so he didn't cover any of the paranormal, so let's just talk about some of the paranormal stuff. Right. Of course, it has Robert the Doll there. That's going to set off EMF spikes, EVPs, K2s, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. People have captured orbs and ghostly figures around the fort on their camera. Mm-hmm. Also reports of soldiers, of course, Civil War type stuff. People have reported camera and equipment malfunctions. We didn't have that happen that I can remember.
I did try to take pictures of Elena.
You're right. You did tell me that before we started.
I took a picture and I tried, you know how like I like to take 3 pictures.
Yeah.
And I tried to take a second one and I couldn't. And then like they were rushing us out of there. It was during the evening tour. She was not available during the day. They had her in a secluded room. They unlocked it, opened it up, and let us look in. Yeah. And I couldn't take more than one. And I was disappointed. You need to clarify
that she's not there. It was artifacts related to it that was there. She's not there. She's buried in a cemetery. Okay.
Is she really?
Don't go there. You're putting out fake news. Don't say that. Okay.
Let's say it was his reproduction of her then.
Okay.
I tried to take more than one picture of it, and
the camera
would
Do you think that was paranormal, or was the camera not working right?
It would only let me take one picture, and I was so disappointed that I
got a ton of pictures of Robert.
I did.
So I don't know. Kind of strange.
Yeah.
Personal experiences. What do you think? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was very cool. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I thought it was really weird. It's the only museum that I've ever been to that isn't like weather climate controlled. That made it very different.
I found it interesting, the story that I got from people checking out at the counter.
Yes.
Robert the doll.
Yes.
And we did get our own little Robert the doll,
Mm-hmm.
which is packed up right now in our stuff from the Paranormal show. But
yeah. Actually, at the Paranormal show, there was a lady that came by at the booth, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you have Robert the doll." And I'm like, it's not Robert the doll, it's a miniature version.
yeah, our Robert the doll is like this big.
Yeah, he's only like this big, but the real Robert's, pretty big. She's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But she knew what it was.
Yeah. And another one came up and said, "Oh my gosh, you have Robbie."
Robbie.
Like it was her best friend.
Yeah. But the tour, I know the tour the night before was a little crowded.
It was, but it was also really cool that we were able to go into the building, see Robert in the dark.
Yeah.
And then we were able to go throughout the rest of the fort, basically.
It definitely served the function that these ghost tours do, that made us want to go back the next day, during the day before we left. And when we went back, there was like hardly anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yes.
It was,
I agree.
Of course it was early. We were getting ready to leave, so I don't know. Yeah, well, it's Key West. Most people don't go to a museum during the day to go see haunted, creepy stuff. They're out on the beach.
True.
Right? But there was that one family there. So.
Yeah. And there were other things in there that were pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
Just walking around, there was a lot of artifacts in there. And again, the fact that you can walk through the fort.
And it's open air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll wrap this one up.
All right.
Okay, folks, till next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting. Let us know if you like this video by hitting that thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, support our channel by hitting that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified the next time there's a video from Panic D Videos.
Thanks for watching.
Happy hunting.